guess I thought you knew.
After I saw the picture.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Michelle Tiemeyer, bringing you information for everyday living from Blackhawk County Extension and Outreach right here in Waterloo. Thank you for joining us. We'd like to say welcome to our listeners today. We have a very exciting program to talk about today. We have some important guests in our studio today that we will be talking about. In fact, they're young people right here in Blackhawk County. We're in our 4-H program locally. So we're going to hear a little bit about the activities that are upcoming. It's getting to be a busy time of the year. It seems like with the spring and the warm weathers, we're all very busy, but certainly these young people are busy. So we'll take some time to learn more about what they're doing. First of all, just want to remind our listeners too that we've got some important things coming up with our Cedar Valley Grows. As I mentioned, as it's getting warmer, you're thinking about gardens. And we hope that you seek us out as you begin planting your gardens, thinking about your gardens. And if you have an organization that is interested in starting a community garden, there is an application process by which we support you in that work. This Friday, which is, I guess, March 13th, Friday the 13th, our applications are due at each of the Leisure Services office, either in Waterloo or Cedar Falls. But we really want to support individuals and organizations that want to start community gardens, whether that garden is for your own growing or whether or not you might be growing food for the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. We certainly invite you to participate in our community garden program called Cedar Valley Grows. With that, I'd like to remind our listeners too that our office is located at 3420 University Avenue in Waterloo. We co-locate with our workforce office and also the North Star offices. So if you find that building, we invite you to come in, share your story. We have great people working there to help answer your questions, whether that is in any of our 4 signature areas. Youth development is an area that we're very interested in helping folks in our youth in our community. Human sciences area, which includes our financial management, nutrition education, our economic development, and lastly our ag and natural resources. So whatever your area of interest might be, we invite you to come and visit our office. Also remind you that we have a second location at the Dick Young Greenhouse, located at the George Washington Carver Academy at 1505 Logan Avenue. So either place, we have friendly folk, stop by and see us. So with that, I'd like to welcome our special guests in the studio today. We have Jana Muniz in our office, as well as Blake. Blake, help me with your last name. Dranoski. Well, Blake and Jana are great 4-H'ers, and we've asked them to come today and share a little bit about their 4-H experience, some of the things that they've done, some of the opportunities they've had to learn, and opportunities they've had to be involved within their community. And then we'd like to wrap up with a very special fundraising event that will occur later on in April that we want to get on people's radar screen. So with that, I'd like to say welcome to you both.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you here. Blake is here and Jana. So Blake, why don't we start off with you and just give us a little bit of background about who Blake is, maybe some of your activities in school, and if you'd like to start out, we'd love to have you do that.
Sure. Hi, like she said, my name is Blake Dranoski. I am from Hudson, Iowa. I go to Valley Lutheran. What I do at Valley Lutheran is I do speech and singing and just do lots of fun there and learn more about God. I am with a group, 4-H group. They're the Blackhawk Stars out of Hudson, Iowa.
That sounds like a lot of things that should happen at your school.
Yeah, lots of fun.
A freshman starting?
I am a freshman at Valley Lutheran.
Okay, so you're finding a lot of fun with your drama.
Oh yeah,
Are
definitely.
you doing a summer play or spring play at all?
We just got done with a play called Check Please at Valley Lutheran. So that was fun. Got done with that.
Are you involved in any summer activities at the school, Blake?
No, not at my school, but I
Okay.
do a service time in Hudson. It is there at their community center. It's for kids
Mhm.
that their mothers work or their fathers work during the summer, and so they just come in and we babysit them, and we just have lots of fun.
Do you do that at the library or community center?
Community center.
Okay, so you do some community outreach, you do
I do.
childcare.
Yep. I do a
Wow.
lot of helping out with the community.
That's great. So Hudson's been your home for many years.
It has since I was born. I'm
Okay.
15.
You're 15, by the way. Blake is 15. He's made that known to everybody. That's great. So, and you also have brothers and sisters
I
involved too.
do. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. My sister, her name is Ashley, and she goes to Hudson, and she's a senior. And then I have an older one, which his name is Sean. He goes to Iowa State. And then I have one older than him, and his name is Zach. And Sean and Ashley were both in 4-H.
Great. So, Blake, tell us a little bit. You've been in 4-H a few years. You mentioned with the Blackhawk Stars.
Yep.
That's the name of your club. Tell us a little bit about your club and how large it is and some of the projects that the Stars are known for.
Okay. So I've been in the Blackhawk Stars for 9 years now.
Wow.
And I have, this group is made up of about 12 guys, and we're all together. And we have done a lot of community work, like during the summer we have a petting zoo at the Hudson,
Big days?
yes, Hudson
Whatever.
Big Days. Their parade, the Hudson Days.
Okay.
And so we do a petting zoo, which is one thing that we like to do, and that's to help the community, just kids that come in and just have fun.
Right.
And then usually our group also does, for Veterans Day, we go out to the cemetery in Hudson, and we do and we put up the flags. So that's helping our community.
Honor your veterans. The
Yes.
importance of veterans. That's great.
Yes, it's very great. Thank you.
So, Blake, one theme I hear kind of through what you're saying is you do a lot of outreach to the community. You're really involved. Why do you like that, and why do you think you do it?
Okay, so I've always been that type of person to go out and help if someone is in need. It could be as little as opening a door for someone, or it could be as big as just maybe going to a retirement home and going around to each person and talking to them, seeing how their day's been going, that kind of thing. So I've always liked doing lots of different things for the community, and especially I like little kids, and I like helping them and working with them for different things. And so I've always been around kids and always helped them. So that is probably the main reason why I like helping the community, because a lot of communities need help with little things or big things.
Right. Well, that's I appreciate that, and thank you,
Yeah.
Blake, for all the work that you're doing in the community. It sounds like you have a good community of support there,
Yep.
and really do lend a helping hand to the community that you know and that you love, obviously, or you wouldn't be involved there. So tell us how 4-H has impacted that. You've been able to do some of those things through your 4-H activities, and certainly that's been one flagship in your life, having the 4-H program to be able
Yeah.
to do that. So do you help other younger 4-Hers?
I do. I have done lots. I've done a few things to help the younger groups in our community.
Right.
And I just will do more if they ask, so
Right.
I'll do whatever they need.
Well, that sounds really great. Fun to be able to do those kinds of things,
Yes.
and actually some lifelong memories
Yeah.
about what you're doing, and those will stick with you a long time. So I think that's a lot, too, of what 4-H is the things that you experience are things that will be very personal, that you can apply to many parts of your life.
And 4-H is not just about going out and doing community work or helping other people with what they need. It's also, we can have fun. It is
Right.
a lot of fun also. So don't think it's just work, work, work. It's also play, 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 which is really fun.
Actually, helping people can be fun.
It can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all in your attitude. Exactly.
Yes.
So I just read a little a quote the other day that said, you know, if the quality of your life is dependent upon the positive attitudes that you have in what you're thinking about. So, you know, if you fill your mind with good thoughts, you probably have a pretty good attitude.
Yep.
And vice versa. We all know what that can be sometimes too.
Yeah.
Well, Blake, thank you for sharing. I don't want Jonna here to think that we've forgotten about her, but Jonna, tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement at school. I know you just got done with the East High Swing Show.
Yes. Well, I'm a member of the. Excuse me. I go to East High. I'm in 12th grade, so I'll be graduating here
Okay.
in May. And I'm a member of the Mount Vernon Pals. I was president last year, so
Wow.
that was an experience. I've never been a president of anything before, so I liked that. I go to the fair every year. I've been in 4-H,
Mm-hmm.
and I take sewing, baking, photography, which is my favorite. And I'm not really into the animals because I don't have any animals, so I don't take any animals. I've never experienced that before.
So you as president of the Mount Vernon Pals, tell us, you said you really, really like that. Tell us, what about that did you like?
I guess I like just being in charge of the whole meeting, taking a step up, and my club is mainly lots of little kids, so they don't understand a lot of things that are going around. So then just explaining to them better, because when I was younger I didn't understand what 4-H truly was.
Mm-hmm.
So just telling them a little bit more, helping them with that.
Right. So as a president of your club, you got an opportunity to set the agenda for the meeting, probably?
Yes.
Did you do that with input from your 4-H leaders, the
Yes.
adult leaders?
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out well?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you, and each month you kind of set your schedule, some icebreakers usually is what a normal meeting looks like?
Yes, and also coming up with presentations or where we were going to have the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Who's going to bring the treats?
Yes.
Who's going to, that's always important.
Yeah.
Who's going to bring, and where you're going to meet, the demonstrations or presentations.
Yes.
So at your meetings, there'd be a business meeting plus then some presentations that the other 4-H members would actually present.
Right, yes.
So what would a typical presentation, what kind of topic might there be that somebody could?
There's lots of different kinds. There's people do food, so someone might give an example how to make a smoothie, bake cookies, or someone can have a presentation about their dog or something they're doing at school, and they'll have a poster
Mm-hmm.
and tell about it, and then people can ask questions. Or people can bring a craft or something that they really like to do and show people how to do it.
Mm-hmm. So how do kids come up with ideas for their presentations? Is it?
Mostly I think it would be on what they like to do or something that they love or have a passion for and want to share.
Blake, is that how your club does it too?
Yeah, it's just whatever you're passionate for and whatever you like to do. It's just good to bring it and show them what you have done over the
Right.
year and or years in plural, and what you have thought about the thing that you were telling them about.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of just a thing that, and then we can ask questions if we're confused, or if we like what they told us, then we have learned something which is fun to take home and then maybe tell other people.
So a presentation could be 5 minutes or it could be 10 minutes. It's
Yeah.
kind of whatever the subject matter is. And that's a good point, that if you're not understanding something or what doing, you can ask the question. That helps them be a better presenter because you've asked the questions and you've learned something that you didn't know.
Yes.
So what about those kids that may not know what their interests or passions are? When you're younger, I think it's harder to define that. do you help them think about what they could do? You know, you kind of have to get into this.
Yeah, you kind of have to talk to them and bring it out from them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, or else you can just see what they're doing in school. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they have an activity going on, or they really like school, and then it usually comes out.
Sure. So as you're getting ready for these presentations, you obviously both have done many of them in front of your 4-H clubs. How do you kind of prepare? What kinds of things do you do?
Well, I usually do like some type of food, so I'll practice the night before, have all my ingredients out,
Mm-hmm.
and then make a list of what I need to talk about, and then I'll bake the cookies.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a cookie, if I'm showing how to do a cookie, then I'll bake them the night before and have them already cooked, so when they come, they don't have to wait around for the cookies to be baked.
Mm-hmm. Now, why don't you call me when you're making cookies? No, that sounds really fun. Tell either Blake or Jonna, whoever can answer this, what is the role of the adult leader? We know the importance of 4-H leaders and what they do to support you. How do you see their role through all this?
As the adult leader?
Yes.
My adult leader, her name's Nancy,
Mm-hmm.
and I think as the 4-H, all of us 4-Hers, we really take a big step, so everyone has their own job to do.
Mm-hmm.
So she just comes and helps bring to the table what is going on, and then we all try to help out. She's just there to guide us,
Mm-hmm.
so she's our guider.
Like, we as a group are the ones who, I would say, run the meeting.
Okay.
And the president is the president for a reason, to make sure the group stays on task and is going in the correct direction with what they have to get done. And the adult leader is just there to make sure that we do get everything done.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have anything to say, if they have to add anything, or something we said might have confused them, or what they said might have confused us.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just making sure the meeting runs smoothly.
Yeah,
And
they're like
just,
a teacher.
right, they're very helpful.
Mhm.
I think they're amazing that they want to help us they want to be an adult leader helping a group of teens. So I just think that's pretty cool that they want to do that.
That's great. I appreciate that. Just in case any of our audience has just joined us, we're speaking today with Blake Dranowski and Jonna Muniz, two of our Blackhawk County 4-Hers, and they're talking about the experiences that they have had as Blackhawk County 4-Hers and what they've learned, I think. And I wanted to ask Jonna a little bit, as a senior, moving on to college, I'm assuming, what kinds of things have you learned that you think you'll be able to take on, not just to college, but that next step called life? Are there some things there that?
Well, taking things to fair and writing down or explaining how you did if it was sewing, explaining step by step, and just talking about how you learned from experiences helps a lot. By when you're signing up for college or have to write a paper, you have that extra knowledge about how to write a paper. Also, 4-H is involved with the community a lot, and just getting out and talking to people, so I think that helps too, just not being so shy or understanding more about your community, getting out.
I think the personal skills that you're talking about, the ability to organize,
Yes.
Budget your time, because you're both very busy, and you need to fit 4-H into a very busy, personal and social schedule and school schedule and such. So it sounds like the skills that you're building are really lifetime skill sets,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. And just for our listeners too, we'd encourage you that if any of you are interested in learning more about the Blackhawk County 4-H program, or a 4-H program in any county that you might be residing in, to call the local extension office. And in Waterloo, that number is, get your pen and paper out here, it's 319-234-6811. And certainly we would be willing to figure out ways that we can get your children or grandchildren or cousins or whatever involved in 4-H. And also remind our audience that it does take support of adults. I think we've heard that a little bit both from Blake and from Jana about the importance of caring adults. And certainly we provide volunteer training for our volunteers. In fact, this past weekend, a full day training for volunteers, because I don't think you can learn too much about how we can help young people. And Blake is shaking his head yes.
Yep.
I think there's always opportunity for all of us to learn,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how old or young we might be, so
Yeah.
that's for sure. Blake, I know we want to talk, we've got a few minutes remaining here, we want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that you each do, and you were talking about a project, the chicken project that you were involved with. Tell us about your chickens, Blake.
Okay, so the project is called the Broiler Project,
Yes.
and it's you get chickens, and then you get them when they're really small, like a chick, and then you grow them all the way up to an adult. And during this process, you are keeping them safe so no animals eat them.
Yeah.
You are feeding them and watering them so they don't starve or just so they don't get sick.
Right.
And so that's kind of what happens during that time. And then after, I think it's 2 months, I think it's about 6 weeks.
6 weeks, right.
Yep, I think it's about 6 weeks we have them. And then after those 6 weeks, then you take them to fair, which is on July 21st through 25th.
Very good.
And this year, and then you show them there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun because you get to see other people that have chickens that bring them to the fair. Just see, there's different ways of doing, of like feeding them with different food or bathing them. Make sure you bathe them because then they'll stink. You don't want that now.
Right.
And so like there's different ways. So like by asking someone like how they do a certain thing helps you grow as a person of
Right.
figuring out how to do this or this or this. So that's kind of a thing that I love. And then after you show them, you can get like placings like first, second, or a blue, red, purple
Purple, right.
ribbon, which is really good. And then after that, you usually take them home.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take them to the butcher house, and then they get cut up, so then we can eat them for supper.
Right.
Sorry if you have chickens, and don't cry right now, please.
Well, and I think what's really, really outstanding is last year our Blackhawk County 4-Hers were able to donate about 700 pounds of fresh chicken meat to the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. And the efforts that Blake talked about just now, he was part of that effort. And so not only do you learn the ins and outs of growing chickens and being available twice a day to feed them
Mm-hmm.
in the summertime, morning and evening,
Yep.
and making sure that they're fed, watered, properly maintained, cleaned, and then eventually taking them to the food bank is really an outstanding project. Again, community service, but also where our youth learn a lot. And actually, we're hoping to grow that program significantly this year. So if any of our listeners are interested in that project, again, we urge you to call the Blackhawk County Extension Office, because we would like to get more kids involved in this. And you don't necessarily have to be a 4-Her, but we would love for you to be a 4-Her to get involved with this. So again, call our office at 319-234-6811. Before we leave, we've got about 5 minutes left. Jana, we'd like to talk a little bit to you about some of the projects that you're involved. I know paint or photography is one of your favorites.
Yes, I take photography. How I got involved with that is my mom, she's a photographer, so it's nice that she can teach me and I can learn with her how she takes photos, and then I can take the photo and just learn and hopefully get a good ribbon on it. I've had 4 actually of my photos go to State Fair down in Des Moines. I also take sewing. I sewed an apron and that went to State Fair. I also take baking. I got a purple on a cake that I've made. Didn't go to state fair though.
Well, that sounds like you have a well-rounded project lineup.
Yes.
Very much so, and I know Blake, probably you have some other ones too.
Yep, I've done a workshop, which I've gone to state,
Oh,
and then I'm doing a few this year. I'm doing chickens.
mm-hmm,
I'm doing Share the Fun for 2 different things.
great.
And then I'm doing a few, a woodworking project, and then hopefully a home improvement project.
Well, Jonna and Blake, I'd like to say thank you for being here today and talking a little bit about your experiences as a Blackhawk County 4-H member. The time goes so quickly, so we'd like to say thank you to each of you and just remind our listeners that we talked about some events, upcoming events, one being the Blackhawk County Fair, which is July 21st to the 25th, right here at the National Cattle Congress grounds. Please consider joining us, and I know that there will be additional information on our website. So if you check out the Blackhawk County Extension website, you can find out about many of these opportunities. Also, like to remind our visitors, also we have a paint and pizza workshop coming
Yes.
up. Jonna, tell us when that is.
Yes, Tuesday, March 17th at 3 to 5. It's at St. Paul's Methodist Church, 207 West Lewis Street in Waterloo. You'll you'll paint on a canvas, and it costs $7 at the door.
Right, but be sure and register at our offices. We'd sure like to know if you're planning to come so we can have supplies, but that is also available to non-4-Hers as well. Again, if you're interested in the paint and pizza canvas workshop, and that's during spring break, on the Tuesday of spring break, we urge you to do that. Call our office at 234-6811. Also remind our listeners that this coming Friday, there's a very great event coming up at the Waterloo Center for the Arts, which is Saturday, March 14th from 10 to 3 p.m. We are featuring the Cedar Valley Local Food Fair, and there'll be opportunities to taste some very delectable local food fare, and this is a free event to all families, so we're urging you to buy fresh, buy local, and attend the local food fair at this Saturday, March 14th at the Waterloo Center for the Arts. So another great event. Also during spring break, the Extension Office is a part of the world's greatest spring break that happens in downtown Waterloo.
Yes,
For those of us that cannot travel to faraway places, during spring break week you can visit many downtown venues, whether that's the Youth Pavilion, the Sportsplex, the Grout Museum for $1. So during that time, visit those venues $1 per day. And we will actually, the Extension Office will be on Friday during spring break at the Grout Museum from 10 in the morning till 2 p.m. And there'll be a fun food activity going on there, so please join us for $1. It seems like a fairly reasonable day and opportunity to be involved. Also remind our listeners to check out our website for various things that are going on, and we hope that you take part in many things that our Extension brings to our community. Again, we'd like to say thank you to Blake and to Jonna for being with us today, our local Blackhawk County 4-H members. Again, if you're interested in anything that we've talked about today, we urge you to give us a call at 319-234-6811. With that, we'd like to say thank you for listening today to Information for Everyday Living from Blackhawk County Extension and Outreach. Thank you.
We didn't talk about this.
Oh, we didn't? Oh my God.
Oops.
Why didn't you smack me?
I was holding it up like this.
I didn't see it. I did not see it. Can we have a few more minutes? Could we?